Bending over when you have osteoporosis is one of the suggestions they give you to not do so you don't fracture your back. But what if you need to bend over in your life, in your sports, your activities, vacuuming, something drops on the ground? What level of osteoporosis are you? What other factors in your life, how balanced you are, your diet and nutrition, also affecting your either helping or hurting osteoporosis? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to go over those different points and give some suggestions. Please take a quick second here, subscribe, and then hit that bell. That way you'll be notified each week when we put out videos on how best to balance your body so you're mobile and strong, but mainly so you can live the life of your choosing. I'm Kim Basso. I'm the owner of Solcore Fitness. I've been in this health and fitness field for over 25 years. And I'm a soma therapist and a soma trainer, kind of like a physical therapist. I started off as a trainer and did everything they told me. And after listening to everything they told me, I unfortunately got hurt. That's what led me down this path of holistic exercise and therapy to find out how best to balance the body so that I can heal myself. There's stretches and exercises you can do to stimulate all the different tissues in your body. So I want to impart as much knowledge as I have to you so you can become empowered as I have and my clients have. While going through different websites, medical websites, to kind of see what they say is suggested and counterproductive for osteoporosis and activities like bending over, I ran into a lot of information and a lot of it conflicting. So I saw things like were obvious. So don't pick super heavy things off the ground. Fully flexing your trunk and twisting, which will hurt your back. Don't do ballistic type training like plyometrics, which is like jumping up and down. But then I saw on some sites, again, medical sites, saying it's okay to jump rope, it's okay to jog, all things that could be more damaging to your spine. So like most health and fitness information, it started to get a little dogmatic and confusing even to me. I'm in the field. So I think going through and kind of breaking this down through different aspects will help you kind of see a bigger picture. Things like, what level of osteoporosis are you? What is your goal? What other things are you doing in your life to keep your body balanced? And I think a little bit of anatomy about biomechanics will be necessary. Don't worry, it won't be too sciencey. I'll try to make it very practical. But I think by going through these different aspects, we can get a bigger picture on what all this means. So from hopkinsmedicine.com, I found a kind of a chart, a T-score for your osteoporosis. I'll put the URL in the description, and right here I'm going to talk about, I'll put up a little graphic for you. So you can see here that a T-score of -1 to +1 is normal. From -1 to -2.5, you're talking about osteopenia, the beginning of osteoporosis. And then a -2.5 on is now osteoporosis. So what you do if you have osteopenia, the beginning, and if you're deep into osteoporosis further down -2.5, is going to be different. That's a different level of density of your bones, which means you're a different person, so no two people can have the exact same program. The next factor you want to look at is, what is your goal? And getting fit is not a goal, because one person's version of getting fit can be to be a downhill skier and keep up with that. Another version can be, I just want to garden and play with my grandkids. It also comes into thinking like, how is your body balanced now? Are you already balanced? Are you working out now? Are you hydrated? Are you eating good nutrition? All these things need to be factored into what you're doing before you decide what exercises are good for you to do. Now that we got some basics down, I just want to do a quick check-in and see if this is something you're struggling with. If this information is helpful, just give me a yes or no, and please ask any questions that you want. So a little bit of anatomy and biomechanics to kind of help you out on optimally what you should be looking for. So you should have your ear, your shoulder, your hip, and ankle generally lined up in a straight line. Doesn't be perfectly straight, but it has to be approximate. Your postural system should be able to manage you in what's called it's an inverse 4-degree cone. So there's an inverse 4-degree cone around me. My postural system should be able to hold me in that cone. If not, it taxes the rest of my body. Since we're speaking about the spine and bending over, your spine should have 4 distinct curves: sacral, lumbar, thoracic, cervical. And if you lose one of those curves, like it flattens out or reverses, it makes your total spine 50% weaker, around 50% weaker. You have 4 layers of abs, 3 main layers of intricate back muscles, and you have a bunch of trunk muscles that help your spine to mobilize and stabilize as you move around in life. And all this is connected via a fascial system, like a web that connects your body all around. So it's like you have one fascia that connects all of it. And that fascial system should be responsive and alive. Generally, you want to have good hydration and reduce your stress, and then train relative to your fascia. Training your body to be balanced will go a long way to help with osteoporosis. So the reason they don't want you to bend forward is twofold, two types of bend. One, if I bend forward right there, with the weight of my upper body, that lever arm goes right to my lower back. And I can put more pressure specifically on my lower back, specifically with my L4 and L5 vertebra. That's the lower part of the lower back. If my bend includes a flexion, a roll, like that, then my spine, the front part of my spine, the body, will come close together. And the fear is, if it comes close together and they start to push on each other, then those forces will crack the bone. But, again, this is depending on your level of osteoporosis, but if you train your body properly, in general, when you do a forward bend, you know how to initiate from your pelvis and at your lower back. You would know how to let your hamstrings do the work and allow your thoracolumbar fascia and your abs to help control and stabilize your spine and disperse the force that happens when you bend, or disperse it properly. And with that flexion one, the rolling one, if you train your body properly, then you have more space in your intervertebral joints. Those joints are more intelligent and they're more hydrated with fluffy disc. So when I do that flexion, and those two vertebrae come together, instead of being close together with no disc and punching, well, potentially, I flex, and now that disc in between can help absorb that shock absorber motion more. That's one of its jobs. And because the joint is intelligent, it knows how to flex more. It's not some random movement. But on top of that, if you train your body properly and you have good balancement in your body, then your GI tract will work much more efficiently. And that's very important for all those nutrients you need to have strong, healthy bones. Now, on top of that, if you train your body properly and can keep yourself in that 4-degree cone, then like I said at the beginning, then just the forces from daily life wouldn't accumulate in your body. They would be able to dissipate and go around, and you would have less force in your body. So I have less force in my body, I have less accumulation, I have less chance of fracture. So let's look at some different situations and talk in general about these different aspects we're talking about, so we can kind of solidify some of this knowledge into actual quote-unquote real-life situations. So take somebody who's in the beginning stages of osteoporosis or maybe osteopenia, but they don't really work out. They do some general walking and stuff, but nothing dedicated to really educating their body to be that specifically balanced and strong like I talked about. They're kind of dehydrated. They've lost their lumbar curve. It's kind of flat, but they want to keep hiking. They want to play with their grandkids. They want to be able to take care of themselves in their house. Should they bend over? At the beginning, probably not. But at the beginning, they have potential to train their body to bring back that lumbar curve, to rehydrate the tissue, to teach their body to be strong and balanced, and then teach themselves to potentially bend over relative to what they need. If their goal is to live life and they have to bend over and do some activities like pick something off the ground or vacuum, or if they're hiking and they trip and they go to fall and catch themselves, well, their body has to bend over. And if you don't train your body to bend over, then when it goes to bend over, it just does it however it thinks it should, and that's where you get problems. The second person, they're right in osteoporosis, but they've been diligent. They've educated their body to be as balanced as possible. They've stayed active. They've stayed hydrated. They've taken all their nutrition. They're good on all their supplements. Should they bend over? Well, they need to, because their goal is to bend over and be active like they have been. Should there be precautions? Sure. They want to make sure they keep bending, keep track of what level of osteoporosis they are. But again, their goal is to bend through their activities and through life. If you're deep into osteoporosis, then I probably wouldn't bend over because now you're too fragile. In fact, there's a instance of a friend's mother of mine, and she had such bad osteoporosis that she basically had just to sit there because anytime she moved, almost, her vertebrae cracked. If that's you, I am so sorry. That sounds very challenging. So keeping your body balanced, as I talked about before, is going to be the number one way to help yourself with osteoporosis. But there's also things you can do for microstimulation. So microstimulation gives you that stimulation of the bone so it can produce more bone and keep it strong. The two forms that I've studied and heard of, and I tried to find the studies but I couldn't find them, are Nordic walking and the power plate. They both provide microstimulation in your bone to help keep it strong. But you can't just do that alone because those activities of Nordic walking and staying on a power plate and being buzzed, right, microstimulation, are going to cause your soft tissues to work. And normalizing your soft tissues through strengthening and stretching corrective type exercises is a way you keep your body balanced. And if you don't incorporate that with the Nordic walking and with the power plate, then you go a good way one way, you go in a bad way in another way. And now it's a net negative and you end up in a bad way, basically. So you can use those tools, but again, you gotta balance your body. I hope this video gave you a broader understanding and wider view of the osteoporosis and the bending pattern, and if it's good or not good, if you need it, don't need it. My goal here is so you can have some information so you can start to think a little bit, ask questions to your practitioners, and decide what's best for you. If you're looking for a program to help balance your body, like I keep talking about, and you need some help, then we would like to help. So in the description below, we've got a link for a free diagnostic consultation. We'll find out where you're starting from, where you want to go. We'll try and impart as much information as we can along the way. And then if your goal is to work with us, we'll see if you're a good fit and tell you what that's involved. If you're not ready to get into a program just yet, and just need a little more information, then in the description below, we have a free resource, on how best to balance your body sustainably so you can live the life on your terms. Again, that's in the description. Just click on our link, put in your information, and we'll get it right out to you. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. And to help others find this video who might find it beneficial, please like and share it. Stay tuned for this next video on the Aldoa method and helps increase flexibility and reduce pain. And please don't forget, it's not just working out, it's building a foundation for a better life.